One more week into the Sri Lankan economic crisis and there is still no light appearing at the end of the tunnel. Hospitals don't have medicines, homes don't have fuel to cook food. From transportation woes to skyrocketing inflation, it appears that every single sector in the country has come to a halt. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who has also taken charge of finance, said he will be presenting the budget in few weeks. There were several steps he talked about during his message to people, but not even one thing on the lines that could infuse even a little sense of hope for Sri Lankans.
Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was appointed the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka in a knee-jerk reaction to the growing anger in the island nation a few days back, will also be handling the country's finances amidst the worst economic crisis the country has suffered since 1948, and which doesn't seem to be getting better in weeks or even months. In a message to the nation this week, he said that he will present an interim budget within 6 weeks. He has hinted at slashing down on infrastructure projects and rerouting funds into a 2-year relief program. The inflation rate in the country is hovering around 40, with skyrocketing commodity prices and unprecedented deficit of fuel. Wickremesinghe said he will also be handling the future talks with the global financing body, the International Monetary Fund.
Inflation can go well into the 40s. Remember, one is the price adjustments we are making. Secondly is the fact that we printed money. We have no rupee revenue, and now we have to print another trillion rupees. So you can see how inflation is will have an impact here.
Observers say while the government has apprised the country about its plans, its roadmap has not infused even modicum of optimism in the citizenry. The situation of deficit and looming devastation continues to persist. Meanwhile, a severe shortage of medicines has spread all across the country, with one of its biggest cancer hospitals warning that the crunch may lead to the death of some patients who could otherwise be saved. The country's healthcare system is close to collapse. It imports more than 80% of its medical supplies, but with foreign currency reserves drying up during the crisis, essential drugs are disappearing from shelves.
As a government hospital, we depend on the government supplies. So sometimes even in the morning we plan for major surgeries which we may not be able to do it on that particular day, as it is not there. So it will it's very bad for the cancer patient, because the cancer will grow and has a bad effects on the patient outcome.
There has been no change in the images that truly define the gravity of fuel shortage in the country. People this week too were seen pushing their vehicles as they waited in lines to petrol stations, and women sat on pavements with plastic containers, waiting to buy kerosene for cooking. People say while sometimes it takes hours to receive a small amount of fuel, on other days even a long wait ends up in futility.
So we are waiting from here to from 6 morning, from the 6 a.m. So still they are not promised to fuel is coming or not. Even they will increase the price. They are not advised to people to what we have to do. They are not providing the solution. So we are asking from the government what they give the solution for us.
Meanwhile, the President of Sri Lanka, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is now at the center of public outreach facing increasing demands of resignation, said that there were countries who were providing finances for the essential medicines. While expressing his gratitude for the expedited Indian support, he said that Japan too was on board to assist it with the bridging financing. The country's leadership, he said, was working to figure out a solution, and people needed to trust the process. However, the scenes emerging on the streets of Sri Lanka speak contrary, as demonstrations against the Gotabaya administration are only intensifying, with a long and loud chorus of "Go Gotabaya, Go Gotabaya."